Hey everybody, Laz here from the Guild Excalibur, playing some Neverwinter again on the Xbox One. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my Hunter Ranger Mod 10 combat build. First I'd like to say thank you to, I don't want to butcher the name, T. Sawantimi and Arsenal from Look Good Play Good, the second guy. I used his MMO Minds build and the other guy on YouTube when way back when for guidance and tips when I was a trapper. Very good stuff on both of them, you know, just used their tips. And so let's get started right into it. So Mod 10 I went to combat and I just did a lot of tweaking. So character, as just like my great weapon fighter, I like to run the 2 Dusk and the 2 Adamant. Well, it's Umbral for the Hunter. It's good. When I build my guy, I like to prioritize my penetration first, and then crit, and then power. But when I'm doing that, on my gear, I like to prioritize the power, crit, defense. So for my gear, I want the highest power, then crit, and defense for the actual armors. Alright, like the Dragonflight's good for people however they're building, but this is just how I build my guy. So to get to the pen cap, I run the Lost Mouse set on the Ranger. It's very good. I think it's better than the Orcus for the Hunter Ranger. So I run the Horn, which is 1000 pen. Run the Lantern, is 1000 pen. And then I run the controller, which is power, crit, excuse me, and the wheel, of course. Alright, so I'm getting 2k pen from that, plus the 2k when my companion proc, so that's 4k. I used to have 2 of my armor pieces. The reinforced used to be the 200 pen on both of them, but with the insignias I'm using now, I was able to drop that off. So I run crit on all of them. Because also in the combat tree, you're gonna lose 10% crit chance. I got back up to completely, back up to 100% exactly. Alright, so when I did that, I was changing my insignias out because I used to run. The barbs were all my crits, and my enlightens and all the regals, illuminated. They were all deflecting lifesteal when I first started dicking around with this build. So now I changed to, as you see, all those reds, those are all crit. So 200 crit from each thing. So I was getting 2 insignias for 400 crit for 1%, and then I was switching to an Azure. What did I have? I had Radiance, so I was trying to get my crit back up because I lost my 10%, because you can run more power as a trapper. So like these have action, the enlightens have action point and 200 crit. The barbs, they have 200 crit and combat advantage, 100, and I have 1 crescent is 200 crit and 100 combat advantage. Now where I said I made up my pen, anything that's green is 200 power, 100 companion influence. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have plus 600 companion influence from my insignias, and therefore my pen still hits that 6k cap. So since we're here, we'll go right into my insignias. I run Gladiator's Guile, which is awesome because I don't run the Fox's Cunning anymore, which is made the trapper so mobile. I've tried to like it in the combat build, but the damage is so underwhelming compared to, I like the plant growth, I'll explain that. Alright, so this gives me 15% faster when my stamina is above 75%, and when your stamina is below 25%, you gain 50% of your power as stamina. So it keeps your stamina up. Magistrate Patience, you guys probably seen this one already. Now, this one's the one I'd be messing around with a lot. This one right now is whenever I do a crit, I get 1.5% of my maximum hit points, and this can only go off every 2 seconds. And I'm crit capped, so every 2 seconds I'm getting a heal. I've tried this one, Before this one, I had the one with the deflect. You get 1.5%. But when I raised my crit and my power recently with my tweaking of my character, I lost a lot of deflect. But you still get through your feats pretty high deflect chance. And of course, Protector's Camaraderie, same as my Great Weapon Fighter. So I didn't really touch my Great Weapon Fighter too much. I used the same spec, the slam spec, in my other slam video. And to make this guy, I stripped down a 3.5k CW and GF and sold a lot of their stuff so I can afford to gear this guy up. And I'm using a lot of Insignias and Enchants and, you know, my the stuff on my weapon and my armors from my Great Weapon Fighter, borrowing it. Alright, so in my last one I use Shepherd's Devotion. Whenever you use a daily power, you and your teammates get defense, deflect, and movement by 5% of your power. So it's 1.6k for everyone in your so that's what I'm using on my mounts. Okay. And there's a couple new ones. I'm gonna play around with them. I'm always playing around with my character since Mod 10 came out. So we did the character sheet. I explained the 2 dusk for the 1000 power and 1000 defense. I used the twisted set. Now I think that the set inside the stronghold that you get, if you run with the constant 4 people, that would be 10% flat damage, 10% less incoming damage. And I think your healing's increased on. That would be better, but you need to run it with 4 other people in a group of 5 to have that constantly going. So my utilities, I run full dark to make up for the speed that I lost, because my main was a Great Weapon Fighter, and I like to be fast. And from the Trapper, you're losing a lot of speed. Even that Gladiator's Guile doesn't make up too much for it. Alright. So, and my shirts is the ones you buy off the auction house or make. Same thing. And my rings, the Brutal. Because, as I explained, I like the sudden rings more than the rising rings. And I use this rising ring because I'm crit capped. If I wasn't crit capped, I would use the sudden ring of precision. That gives me crit chance. I like the suddens more. I also have the lifesteal one. I've been trying with that. I have the deflect one. I've been messing around with it, but it seems, right now I'll just take the extra power. Yeah, this character's still in work, definitely. And my gear, when I was messing with the insignias and the gear, dropping my radiance. At first I brought the Azures to get it up, but when I had the Azures, I had 3 Azures and 4 Radiance, and that gave me 2100 crit and 2800 power. So I took Brutals off my Great Weapon Fighter and went 5 Brutals and 2 Radiance, and that's still the same 2100 crit, but it's 3500 power, so 700 more power. Alright, and I get crit on all my armor pieces. I have the crit reinforced kits, and on my belt and my jewels, I have the stamina. Because our ultimates are very underwhelming. I say ultimate, it's your dailies. Alright, so we're done with that. Let's go to powers. Powers I have on my bars are my actives. I use, this thing got a lot of love right here. This Blade Storm. I love it. It's great. It's fun. I'm still working on getting points for some of my stuff. My second one, I use the Twin Blade Storm. It's pretty cool. It's if you hit more than 2 enemies, an additional 4% damage, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, so 16% damage whenever you're hitting more than 2 dudes. And the ones I've been looking at also are, I think it's this one. You can get 19% damage from hitting someone in the back, but this one seems stronger. And I've tried between the Twin Blades and the Pact, and it seems the Twin Blades is better, except in a group, this is better for your group, of course, But, the damage from the combat build now, it's on par with the Great Weapon Fighter. Unless you can pass the Great Weapon Fighter, unless they're running slam, and then they're just gonna destroy you. But the class is very fun. Now, my two abilities that I always have on my bar are this: the Split the Sky, which you will rarely use, and Throw Caution, which is awesome because it's your version of, I guess you would say, daggers, except it debuffs you too as well. And then you're gonna get your at-wills are gonna be able to damage right away. So that's always on my bar. And the other one is Long Strider's Shot. That's always on my bar. The shot is awesome. It makes you and your team do damage. I think mod 10 made the shot actually do more damage and increase the buff. And the Gushing Wounds is great. It's a great damage attack. It's like a stab with the bleed on it. It's a very slow animation. My at-wills, you can use the aim shot, which is kind of like the Gushing Wounds attack, but the animation is too slow. I prefer the electric shot, which I'll explain. I use that for like my AoE, like if there's stuff behind you and spread out, because it hits from a long distance. It does more damage to stuff that's close, but it's very good at clearing trash, especially when you're soloing like your campaigns and stuff like that during the day. You know, you hit one of your melee abilities and that'll clear everything. It does less damage than what I use on my main one, which is the Split Shot or Split Strike. This does more damage if there's like 3 or more enemies in front of you, because this one you have to target. This does more damage. Definitely does more damage, but you need to have a target, and it won't hit the mobs behind you or far out to the side. So I hope I explained that. And my third ability that this is the one I've been playing with a lot. I like the Plant Growth and Cordon of Arrows. Because I like the Cordon of Arrows because you can still use that on your arrow ability. The Plant Growth, the only thing wrong with it is the cooldown on it is longer than I would like it to be. You know, it does a lot of damage. Fox's Cunning, I tried this in place because I really like this on my Trapper build. And it underperforms compared to Plant Growth. You know, it makes you go faster. The damage is very underwhelming, and sometimes it'll mess up your flurry when it procs, because you'll still be moving. Because now they changed the flurry from your next encounter, your next at-will, to 2 seconds. So you usually can get 3 at-wills off. Alright, and on my second ultimate, like, no, that I've also tried. Thorn Ward is probably the best, most conventional, because they twinked it down to, well, look at it, 7.3 second cooldown for your melee attack, and it does a lot of damage. But I really don't like the Archer version of it. This is probably better than the Plant Growth for functionality, but I like the Plant Growth more. I've tried it with Constrict and Arrow. I didn't like that. I like gameplay with the Constriction Arrow and the Steel Breeze, but the damage is underperforming. Hindrance Shot, I like the gameplay. Damage is underperforming. I hope I didn't forget anything. I was a little all over the place there. Feats. Here we go. Like, this is pretty much like your Trapper. You didn't really switch too much, but I'll explain it. 3% crit chance, 3% toughness, 3% max hit point. After you switch stance, 3% more damage for 5 seconds is good. And you had to take something, so stamina regenerates 2% more. Out of these, encounter power will steal 6% more damage. Your encounters still will do damage. You mostly use them for the flurry buff, with a steel hurricane or something like that. I'll get to it. And I put 2 points into increased deflect chance. Alright, and I went to Scoundrel's Training. Your at-wills deal 9% damage to foes not targeting you. Now, I didn't know if I wanted to put 3 in this or 3 into this. I picked this because it's a constant. Like, even if they're targeting me and my encounters and everything do more damage. Okay, now the combat tree. Picked Bloodleaden. While melee stance, you gain 5% more lifesteal. You're gonna gain a lot of life using this build. Oh my god, you're like, I tried that new area and everyone's like, they hit so hard, and you really don't notice they hit so hard because you're like, until you don't lifesteal with them, like you're standing still, they hit pretty hard, but your life will stay almost at full. And Fluid Hunter, while in melee stance, increase your deflect chance and critical chance by 2.5. Now this used to not have the crit chance part, so it makes up a little bit too. And this might have been the one that was lifesteal instead of deflect. Not sure. Warden's Courage, increase the damage bonus and resistance penalty of Thrown Caution by 5%. That is the Split the Sky melee ability that gives you your self buff and makes you take a little more damage, which is why also from the Trapper I took my Great Weapon Fighter's Transnegate instead of, I was using Soul Forge, and you're gonna switch out a Dread, and I took my Great Weapon Fighter's Transvorpal because your at wills are your main damage in this build, not your encounter powers. Now I took Skirmish. Gambit, this is the big guy. Critical chance is reduced by 10%, but your crit severity is increased by 50%. So you're hitting hard, man. Piercing Blades, melee attacks deal an additional 50% damage as piercing damage is physical damage that cannot be resisted or deflected. This is piercing damage 50%, and it's fixed. It works as intended now. Skeething Blades, melee attacks deal 5% more damage and an additional 5% more damage to each foe within 25 feet. It didn't have that 5% more melee damage on it, but before mod 10. And Battle Crazed, melee attacks grant 3% more deflect and melee damage. This stacks up to 5 times for 6 seconds. You'll have this up a lot. So that's 15% more deflect and 15% more damage. This is the one that used to be lifesteal. This one, not the other one. And this is the bad boy, Blade Hurricane. Using a melee counter grants Flurry for 2 seconds. Flurry causes your melee attack at wills to strike 2 additional times for 165% damage each time. So this was changed from, used to be just 1 at will. So you'll probably get 3 of your split strikes in. Or it's close to 4, but 2 seconds it seems like a little bit, but you can get 3 in. And like I said, you're on the trash, you kill faster than like the Great Weapon Fighter, because you're like above the moderate, you're closer to high damage, constant. Where the Great Weapon Fighter passes you is he's slightly above moderate when he's building up, but his you don't have like a spike like him. His spike stage he destroys you in. For PvE. All right, so now we got boons. I didn't finish my boons yet on this guy, but alright. So we're in Sharandar. Power, I took the power. Crit strike and deflect. If I was Trapper, I'd take the deflect, because I'd be crit capped. Took the action points. Your dailies aren't that great. I said that. When you strike a foe, you have a chance to deal up to 20k damage. Or when being struck by a foe, you have a chance to heal. Either or, I feel like I heal myself enough right now, so that's pretty good. And the last one, I'll take the Elvish Fury. When you kill a foe, you stack power. Dread Ring. I took the crit. If I was Trapper, I'd take the power. I took the lifesteal over the regen. I'm trying the deflect over the resist ignored. Usually I always take the resist ignored. And this one I took the enraged growth. When you take damage, you heal. After this effect ends, you gain 4,000 defense because you're a little squishy. So that's why I went to defense over that little bit of damage, and a heal block. And I took the madness. I used to run this one. The lifesteal works a little better. They both seem to work pretty good. Icewind Dale. I took combat advantage. I took stamina. I took crit severity. And I took the power over. The cold shoulder's not that good. And now for this one, I'm gonna probably take the winner's bounty, or I might try the rouse and warmth. You get 3,000 when a chance to gain up to 3,000 damage bonus on next attack. The avalanche I've used and I've never been impressed by it. Underdark, I'm not finished. Tomorrow I actually get another boon in Underdark. So I get power with the defense, lifesteal over the crit. So tomorrow I will get the combat advantage. Combat advantage is still good. They fixed something that was broke. They didn't nerf down combat advantage. They fixed something that was broke. And this one I would take this Dwarven Stamina. Regain stamina 5% faster. And for this one, I would take that 10% versus demons. Tyranny of Dragon. Took the power. I took the crit. If I was Trapper, I'd take the deflect. The arm pen. I took the lifesteal, and then I only have one. You would put all three into crit severity. Or you can mix them up. I see a lot of people take one of them, and then put the one in lifesteal, and then one in the income and healing. I do see that pretty often, actually. Guild Stronghold, I take power. I take, actually, defense, because I don't have the lifesteal one unlocked. So right now I'm getting 5k power, 5k to defend. I would still roll the defense, even if I had the lifesteal. And right now I'm running the XP to get, but if I was like doing Guild Dragons or something, I would switch to mount speed. Maze Engine. Not done yet. Lifesteal. Combat advantage. I would take the action point game probably. Even though your dailies aren't great, because your stamina is going to be really high still. And now we don't need Bahamut's Might, because I'm crit capped. I'm looking at this one here, Displace Fate. Probably below 30% health. You gain a shield, increasing damage resistance by 60% for 3 seconds. And Elemental Evil. Took the power. Took the lifesteal. Was it severity? This I took the crit over recovery. Recovery is actually good too for the plant growth that I like to run. But I needed the crit. And for this one, I didn't take the Gale, which gives you the crit. I took the one that actually gives me the recovery. And that helps with the plant growth. So the boons are done. Companions. It is same thing. I use fire with full azures. Use the air. The earth. I really like the Archon setup still. I like it a lot. A lot of people crack on me a little bit, but I like the 3 where it makes the earth do 7% more damage. That's just pretty good. If I, like the fire, I like as my summons, and it's, it's not a constant buff you get from the active bonus, but it's still really good, man. And I used the Eye of Belial, I believe it's called, the 10% crit severity. And I'm trying the Siege Masters, 4% increased damage or 8% in your stronghold. I had the Blink Dog in there. I like him. I'm actually looking to see what's better. I'm gonna buff up real quick, and I'll show you my stats all procced up. See, your power's a lot lower because you have to make up. I chose to go to 100% crit. Some people don't believe in 100. See, I'm at 102, but my low, it does go down to 100% even. Before, my low was like 100.8. See, I'm 100%, 157 severity, 62.2 ignored. See, I'm at 6.2. And my power is, it goes up to like 55, 57. So my power's not super high, but that's just my build. I want to go smack on monsters, but for all purposes, if you don't want to see how much damage the build does, you can end the video now. But I'll demonstrate it actually smacking on something real quick. Let me make sure I went over everything, I believe. And yeah. And my defense slots, I use ice enchants. They are hell of expensive, and they give you defense, deflect, and lifesteal. The cheaper version would be running darks for the lifesteal. I got this suggestion from that guy I told you in the beginning of the video, Watim from YouTube, and I really appreciated that tip because I like it a lot. So let's see what we got. We got one down there. I'm gonna get stuff real quick. It's very high damage. Yeah. Very nice. So you start with your long strider, and then you would take a turn with one of your melees. Usually I use the plant growth first because it has the longest recharge. And now they're very situational too, because like plant growth, I like to use it first, but I try to save it for big groups of mobs where you can use your electric attack compared to your other attack, which is the name of it. It's called Split Strike. So much damage. Alright, let's go to the closest. I really wish that one that I was just at was up. This will do for purpose. And you can use this archery shot too off your plant growth, which I like. I don't like the ward that much. But the far strider is a very long strider. It's a very good gap closer. See? Gonna plant growth it. Boom. Dead right away. Look at that. And that was actually using the electric shot. Now this will be I'll demonstrate the long strider version, the gushing wounds. It might kill it though. Yeah. You see where it says flurry, you'll get 3 shots off of the flurry. I need to hit something a little bigger where you could see the damage though. So you would open with your long strider, which look how fast that makes you go. They hit plant growth and just bang. Just melt. You see, you really can't see, like in CN, like example, that electric shot is strike is unbelievable in them long hallways. See, now that's the throw caution, I believe it is. So your self buff. That's what I have on the first ability bar. Now, if you were using the aim shot, you would open with your long strider shot, switch over, hit your left trigger or whatever trigger it's on, and then you would hit your other bleed, which is everything does more damage bleed. And then you would do 3 at wills, because you would proc the flurry. Let me see if I can see something a little bit bigger to give you like proper demonstration. Alright, so I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna round them all up, and then I'm gonna fight them. So I'm gonna use my long strider to get speed. I'm gonna pull everything in together. And then I'm gonna drop plant growth. And they're all grouped up. And then electric shock. Strike. Bang. Everything destroyed. Now I'm gonna use my throw caution. And then 3 more. 3 more at wills. And then I will use my gushing wounds. And then 3 more attacks. And then boom, you're ready to rinse repeat. Or you can actually throw one of them in there if you want. Now on the big guys, I will show you how much damage each throw caution or each of your 3 at-will attacks on these guys. And like I said, both are situational. Your electric shot and I just keep saying shot is strike. Oh, it would help if I get these boxes, huh? Okay. But this is gonna be, and usually for my, I didn't mention I used the Force Ghost and my second daily. Right now I have the Seismic Strike, but I like the animation of the, I think it's Steel Hurricane or something like that, the Storm Warden. It looks pretty cool. Good to shoot like down the hallway and see in and trash mobs. Your damage is mostly at wills. At wills do a turd load of damage in this. So I'm gonna get the archery stance. Gonna open with long strider. Gonna jump in. Drop plant growth. For this I'll use electric strike. Look at that, just dead. Right away dead. And now this next one, I'm not gonna have my arrow up, so I'm gonna open with my throw caution, which is your self buff. Throw caution, 1, 2, 3. See, you would do 3. You would have time to get 3 attacks in once you use any of your melee attacks. And now I'll do the Gushing Wounds. I'd be able to use this. Gushing Wounds is the stab with the bleed on it, and that bleed, as you're attacking, you or your teammates will do more damage. So, once I finish this, I'm gonna post this on YouTube. So watch the full video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm mostly a great weapon fighter. And that would be all. I seen I had actually a couple viewers for a second. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you want more of these videos, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. My channel for YouTube is LazX. And this is my second hunter video. I'm actually a main on a great weapon fighter. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hit me up. Thank you.